Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Starport. This is Jason here at New Dimensions Crystals and Reiki in downtown Brenham, Texas. 221 East Main Street, right next to Cape Tex 106 radio station. And today we are doing the star report for September the 11th through September the 17th. And as always, we jump right into the sun because it is our closest star and it is doing star things. There is a CME coronal mass ejection on the way to impact Earth. It should be a minor impact. It should be arriving around Friday or Saturday, resulting. The CME was resulting from a um, large halo eruption from the sun, and CMEs, of course, when they hit are triggering of events, right? So if you have any kind of mood disorders, you might have a trigger or flare up. If you have any kind of chronic diseases like lupus, you might have a flare up. If you have any kind of heart issues, you might have a episode that is triggered either by the eruption and or the impact. So pay attention for that for those of you who are having those kinds of ailments or things that are going on in your body. Also, turning in towards the Earth this week are the coronal holes. Coronal holes are the dark spots on the sun, and those release plasma streams. So we should have an enhanced plasma stream beginning to impact. It's around the same time the CME impacts, right? So there'll be a double whammy. And of course, the coronal holes in the coronal hole streams really feels like a compactness, a headwind, as you were. Sometimes it can cause a squeezing of the earth, right? So pay attention to increased storm activity during that. If you happen to be anywhere where there is uh, whatever it is, earthquakes or stuff in things that might happen around your area, pay attention because sometimes the coronal holes can trigger those. We are currently in the sun sign, the zodiac sign of Virgo. We'll probably be in that through the week. Moving into Libra, I believe, is next. So Virgo is going to continue to affect you in the physical body, in the womb area, in the bowels, and in the solar plexus. The bowels, might be going through a readjustment, right? And so whenever that happens, it's not fun to talk about, but sometimes the bowels will express themselves, right? Clean the pipes out so that new things can be happening. And then, of course, the solar plexus is controlling all of those lower organs, right? From where the solar plexus arrives. It sort of governs what sort of happens in that area. Also, metaphysically or psychologically, it has our anger and control issues, right? So a lot of times you might be readjusting um, how you react to people and how you control your anger and or what kind of rules you sort of put around how your energy is governed, right? So boundaries would be something that is governed by the solar plexus. We are currently in five, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 retrogrades. Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, Chiron, and Uranus. And of course, retrogrades sometimes are an intensity, right? But really, the retrogrades are a reevaluation and interior look at what those planets are doing for your inner world. Of course, during retrogrades and solar events, external world stuff can be shifting as well, right? Um, it is September 11th today, right? So there's a lot of external things that can shift a reality, right? Or cause you to believe in a shift in reality that you start to affirm and undergird with your witness and your attention. So, yeah, pay attention to those retrogrades and sort of see either in other shows or go look them up on your own, what those planets are doing for yourself and just sort of reevaluation of the inner structure of you, how that's going. Leads us into today, Wednesday, September the 11th. As I said, it is indeed September the 11th. And today is the end of the post Mercury retrograde shadow, right? There's a couple of weeks after the Mercury retrograde goes direct, where we still have some residual energy or some shifts. And so you'll notice that you get the idea or the recognition of things that you've worked on probably since the beginning of around August, probably around the 8-8 gateway, is all of this Mercury retrograde shift stuff. So you want to think of on today, really all the shifts that you've been through since the beginning of August, right? And that could be mental, emotional, it could be with your career, it could be with your relationships, all the stuff in the things, right? If we are indeed working ourselves and we're becoming higher and higher vibration, more and more awakened, more and more realized of what we are as divine eternal souls, worthy of love and affection that are never going to die, then all that kind of stuff starts to come up as to uh, almost like a progress report. And you're going to want to sort of see that we just had Labor Day last weekend, that indeed this is sort of the energy of celebrating of Labor Day, right? The labor that you've put in on working on yourself, whether that's your soul was doing it all on its own or you were actively giving it intentions and help and asking for the shifts to occur. The shifts were occurring nonetheless. Leads us into tomorrow, September the 12th, Thursday. Really look for Thursday to sort of be unforeseen results of all of this work. They're going to sort of, I don't say they're going to appear out of nowhere because obviously you've done the work already. I'm trying to pull my headphones out of my ears, my earphones out of my whatever, out of my head. And look for like epiphanies, right? And so with Mercury direct, Mercury is going to be affecting that, right? So communication, right? So it's going to be a clarity, right? And then look for Mercury's also about travel and transitions, right? So look for the energy of Mercury to sort of, when these things appear, give you the ability to sort of act on them and actually shift yourself, or realize that you have shifted and agree with that and sort of move in that direction in your mind, right? So go along with the epiphanies you're having, like, oh, I have shifted, I am different, right? So I can look at myself not at, oh, I wish I would have shifted during all this change, but look at yourself and, oh, I actually shifted and I'm going to start to function in a new way. Mars should be giving you a little bit of the planet Mars should be giving you a little bit of extra oomph to help you with that too. And so just sort of look for some clarity to happen on Thursday of, what you've created, what you worked on, and where you're headed. Leads us into Friday 13th. Friday 13th is Friday 13th. Usually not the superstitious stuff, right? So that's only in modern times. And then of course we get the negative effect of that of Friday the 13th, when all the Knights Templars were taken out for whichever rules you think they might have been breaking, whether that be spiritual rules or banking rules. But really Friday the 13th is always Friday the 13th in known tradition in this last epic that we have record of has been the celebration of the divine feminine, sometimes also called goddess energy. It really is going to give you or undergird the energy of a new life direction and help you create that, right? So it's a creative time for that, which leads right into Saturday, September the 14th is a 22 master day, right? So really you're going to harmonize that energy of Mars from Thursday, from the divine feminine on Friday, and this sort of active ability to act upon that with the 22 master day. You want to kind of think of it as a harmonization of the divine masculine, divine feminine happens on Saturday. Do with that what you will, right? But it really just sort of, if you want to think of it, you can actually accomplish things and create space for those things to occur within, right? So sometimes that's setting up structures. Sometimes that's just all of a sudden the universe opens up and it feels like a gateway you sort of move through. Sort of look for that on Saturday. Sunday, having moved out of focus. Sunday, having moved through that sort of energy, you really want to sort of, if you aren't clear, or even if things have sort of opened up and you've made some changes, you want to write down, you want to sort of take note of what these changes mean, and then sort of make plans around not the old you that is hoping that these things stick, but a new you where these things happen to be true, and what would you would like to build around that energy or that self that you sort of discovered. Just the energy of Sunday sort of gives you those opportunities, and my coaching for that kind of energy when you're writing these things down, um, really sort of extend to like what you think is possible. And when I'm talking about what is, are my lights going on and up and down? Who knows? Maybe I'm having an episode. Um, but when you're thinking about what is possible, sort of think about what's possible for humanity in general, what's possible for a superhuman, right? And sort of think of those as also possible for you, right? Your divine eternal soul worthy of love and affection. You're never going to die, right? So you have this infinite possibility. But then you also want to think that there is something that you can expect or that is possible outside of your known reality, right? Even the most brightest, even the most up to date conspiracy theorist, even the most um, strong flat earther or ball earther, right? Even somebody that's got so many appearances on Ancient Aliens, right? They're not seeing everything that's possible because we are seeing from a limited point of view, sort of trapped into a physical reality, but we exist beyond that. So, sort of be open to all that is possible and even all that is not even in your mind that could be possible. That's that's my coaching for Sunday. And then Monday, September the 16th, you really just want to sort of lean into your plans, but also Monday the 16th is really about anticipation of what's going to be happening on Tuesday, which is going to be the super full moon lunar eclipse on Tuesday. And so let's just get right into Tuesday. Tuesday, the 17th of September, is going to be, at least in the Central Standard Time Zone of Texas, where I am, that is going to be the lunar eclipse. Of course, if you're on different side of the planet or different time zone, it could be tomorrow already, meaning it could be on the 18th. But for here in the Texas Central Time Zone, that lunar eclipse should be happening around 9:30, 9:45, and should be completed probably before midnight. But of course, oh, I'm out of focus again. Leading up to the eclipse, it's lining up, and then oh, it started to cover, and then oh, now we're in the eclipse. There's that energy around that you should pay attention to. And so the idea of eclipses is really sort of those shocks from outside of our own reality, right? So if you want to be thinking about it's all possible, delivery of that possibility will probably be on Tuesday during the eclipse. If you fall asleep and you don't watch it, it'll happen in your dreams. But just sort of, it might feel like a weird deja vu or a shift, or what do they call them? Mandela effects. Like, oh, this is a different reality that I've woken up in. Those are the kinds of things you might be feeling during that. But the intention you want to have during a eclipse, any of them, lunar, solar, is really the openness to receive, right? So um, sometimes that's an open mind, sometimes that's an open heart, right? Sometimes it's just an open energy field where you're allowing the flow of the cosmos to come through. That's going to do two things. That's going to flush out old things that you've sort of kept hanging on, that you're like, I'm going to be this entirely new person. But if this happens, or if, yeah, I'll really, and whether that's you want to hold on to some anger or whatever, some way of thinking is sometimes there. The energy of the eclipses will sort of push that out, and so also, if it pushes out those little last little things that we're trying to hold on to, that leaves room for these infinite possibilities that we're talking about, where something entirely like, oh my goodness, what's that, can happen to you. I don't know what's happened with this brightness. I must be having just, or my lighting is self-adjusting, or my camera is so high tech that it's doing weird things to my face as I move in and out of. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it's my further and closer away from the screen. It's adjusting. But anyway, or maybe I'm just having a metaphysical shift right before your eyes on camera. You never know. It could be the aperture of our own consciousness just going, Jason is shifting right before your eyes. But I'm pretty sure it's just a camera effect. So, that being said, that is the week. We'll see you back here next week. Of course, if any of these things are getting you whacked out of control, then you can come in, book a session, newdimensionscrystals.com, and do an energy session that way. Of course, we still do one-on-one breath work. And of course, if you need to get any of your ritual items for celebrating the divine feminine on Friday the 13th, or any kind of lunar eclipse stuff, of course, we have crystals, candles, and all that fun stuff that you might need for any kind of ceremonial stuff that you'll be doing for that at newdimensionscrystals.com here in downtown Brenham, Texas, 221 East Main Street. Until next week, everybody, I'm looking for my button to end the recording. Until next week, everybody, many blessings. Bye bye. Oh, it didn't hit stop. Now it's hitting stop. Bye bye.